Hello and welcome back to Game 3 here in Kansas City with Kansas City Stampede versus San Antonio Soldados. If you missed out on Game 1 and 2, well, you missed a lot. Game 1, San Antonio took the win with a snitch catch. Game 2, Kansas City came back and with 190 qualifier points won. First game that they've ever won against San Antonio in program history. And so now with this game, we get to see who takes the series win. San Antonio gets a big start by Stewart, passes the quaffle back to Sparza. Hayworth and Himes for San Antonio get bludger control off the bat. DeWick with the bludger for Kansas City.
Yeah, I think this is the game that's really going to test San Antonio's depth. That we've played two really fast-paced games, and San Antonio, they're going to be showing some fatigue at this point.
Absolutely, and I'm not 100% on what game time was for that second game, but it was somewhere over 50 minutes, I think, on the video itself. So that was a goal by Esparza for San Antonio. Score is 10-0. San Antonio leads.
There's none back for San Antonio, and ball goes through Goulet's hands.
Beautiful pass, beautiful opportunity. But I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more of that as teams get more and more fatigued, as this is the third game, and that second game, again, was quite long. Tackle at mid-pitch. Quaffle is loose, picked up by Mercick Ellis.
Good job forcing a turnover there.
Mercick Ellis waiting for his beater. Pass back behind hoops. Another dropped pass, and that ball goes rolling out of bounds. Turned over to San Antonio.
Kansas City's had some really strong beater play early on, but they've just not been able to capitalize. They've had a couple errant passes, and
I think it's a little bit of the fatigue coming in and the realization that this is Game 3. I mean, this is where you sort of need to bring it, and I think the break being a little bit longer, Kansas City so far to me looks a little bit sleepy.
Yeah, coming out a little bit sluggish for sure.
Quaffle getting moved around by San Antonio. Johnson with the bludger, and Johnson and DeWick with bludger control for Kansas City. Hayworth looking to try to make something happen so that San Antonio Quaffle players can converge on the hoops. Thus far, they're just kind of staying way outside and moving the Quaffle around.
Yeah, San Antonio doing a great job there, getting back bludger control.
Pass back behind to Stewart. Kite charging, pass again to Stewart. Stewart takes that shot and goal. The same goal that we have come to know Stewart for this entire series.
Yeah, Jay has been deadly from the wing this series.
Yeah, 20-0. I mean, he's got that shot from behind the hoops there, you know, almost to where the keeper zone line would be behind the hoops. I mean, nobody's able to stop him, and he scored on that mid-sized hoop. I mean, I think at least 90% of them.
Yeah, he's been going back and forth, just attacking those wings, pinching in from the side, and Kansas City really hasn't had an answer to this point.
Himes and Hayworth holding on to bludger control for San Antonio in the middle of their defense. San Antonio playing very, very tight to their hoops. Kite challenging number 73.
Ryan Dickey.
Or 72, Dickey.
Yeah, and Dickey able to drive that one, push that one through, put Kansas City on the board. The score is 20-10 in favor of San Antonio.
This game just as close as last. Barza walking up with the Quaffle. Definitely a different pace thus far. I think last game we were definitely a lot faster than what we're seeing so far this game.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty big game for both teams. San Antonio coming out a little deflated from the loss, and Kansas City maybe got a bit too excited after that win. Just kind of a little bit of a letdown, not coming out super hot.
Right. As we did say at the very beginning, it is Kansas City's first win against San Antonio in program history, bringing the track record to 1 win, 7 losses. But kudos to them for pushing through. And I mean, that was a really close back and forth game. I mean, San Antonio did take over the lead there in the middle for a while before Kansas City was able to close it out. San Antonio charging Stewart with the shot. Looks like it's no good. Pass back to Kite.
Oh. Yeah.
Kite wide open there.
Great job from Mel Kite, just posting up, finding the space, and then just a nice dish and go.
Sometimes that's all you need. Score is 32-10. San Antonio leads. Hayworth subbing out for San Antonio. Brings in Hinba. Healed at the top for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Moves the quaffle in.
Like
Trying to fake. Pass behind the hoops.
Yeah.
That was a great pass to Dickey, and Dickey's able to just push past that back through the hoops for a goal. Scores 30-20 San Antonio. Stewart right in the middle.
Excellent beat strike there.
Great
Vincent
beat by
Reyes.
Oh my
Did
gosh.
a great job all over the pitch there.
Stewart was basically alone there in the middle with that quaffle. Easy one-on-one. But Reyes says, not in my house, not today. Way to hold on to that bludgered. Pass over to Heald. Heald has to. Oh, great tackle made by Avila.
Yep. There's a bit more of that pace that we had seen early on in the series. There's a fair bit of commotion going on at the San Antonio sidelines. Winds up with San Antonio with bludger control.
Yeah, it looked like there was a bludger behind the San Antonio sidelines. Ref had assigned it to one player, and another player tried to go running for it. Everything's solved now. Quaffle is behind Kansas City hoops. Pass back up top to Stewart. Stewart makes a quick jump and then scores.
Yeah, that little step outside, getting the chaser to just kind of cut outside, leaving that space open on the hoop. Really great play there.
Yeah, you just get one step ahead of your defender there, knowing that you know which way you're going, but you don't. Like, they don't.
Yeah.
Morimoto in at keeper for Kansas City. Pass outside.
Come on, dude.
Back up top, over to Heald.
Come on, Stampede, score!
And I didn't notice this. Miguel Esparza is now in at beater for San Antonio.
Oh, I did not realize that he had switched over to beater either. That's a different position than we've seen him all day. Heald ends up getting pushed into the hoop, drops the quaffle.
Yep, and it looks like he was beat prior.
Yeah, but quaffle had gotten picked back up by Hemken. Hemken had put it through the hoop, but the beat had occurred on Heald prior to them releasing the ball. So it was a turnover to Soldados. Avila in for keeper on Soldados with Freeman.
Yeah, and that San Antonio depth is being tested a little bit more as they've got another player down on the sidelines. I believe it looks to be Clayton Carlisle. He's being attended to by the trainer.
Yeah, definitely seeing some new people in for San Antonio that I haven't seen much so far, including Sousa.
Excuse me, athletic trainer.
Yeah. Morimoto with the quaffle for Kansas City, being pressured by Stewart up high. San Antonio condenses on their hoops, not going past the keeper zone. Morimoto being led by Duncan. Duncan with the bludger. Morimoto charges, passes off to Heald. Heald tries to take the shot to the center hoop.
Dylan Freeman with an excellent block there.
Freeman just slapped that down. Freeman hands the ball off to Avila. Kansas City choosing to play very tight to hoops. Vincent Reyes sitting back directly on top of that mid-sized hoop. A big tackle made on to Duncan by Esparza. And Hayworth comes in and makes the beat on Reyes. Reyes, though, picks up another
Beat,
bludger.
and it looks like there's
Quick
no
beat on
bludgers.
Sousa.
Getting that up.
Grant
Oh.
running down the quaffle, faced by Avila, and unable to pick it up.
Oh, that is going to be a call for contact without the ball.
Grant did a great job running down the pitch, trying to pick up that quaffle, unable to pick it up right away. And that ball just kept rolling and then contact happened. So there will be a quick stop, Quaffle getting put back in the hands of Grant, and Avila will go to the box, handing off the keeper headband to Freeman.
Yeah. San Antonio was able to get a bludger back in that exchange, so Kansas City's going to have to slow down their offense a little bit. It doesn't look like they've got any bludgers up.
No, they've got Duncan back by her own keeper zone with a bludger.
Then looks like Vincent Reyes is about to sub off, and he's got their second bludger.
Again, your score right now, 40-20. San Antonio leads. Kansas City with the Quaffle back behind San Antonio hoops on the near side of the pitch.
Yeah. Looks like there's some additional conversation as to what's going on in the beater game.
Yeah, bludger game was happening mostly, it looks like, back by Kansas City hoops, with the exception of the bludger that Hayworth is holding at the Soldados hoops. Soldados taking the opportunity to get their players some water. Can't blame them with them having a short roster here today.
Yeah, fortunately the weather is absolutely gorgeous here in Kansas City. We're looking at probably about 70 degrees right now.
Yeah, and because it's cooled off, that humidity is not nearly as bad as it was earlier.
Yeah, that is still very humid, but it is now got a cool breeze going.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, this is almost like not quite perfect Quidditch weather to play in, but to me, this is probably more ideal than what we had a little bit earlier when the sun was out. Quaffle still in the hands of Grant. And we are restarting play. Grant passes up to Heald. Heald charges, takes the shot. Hard hit made by Freeman at the top of the keeper zone.
Yep. And it looks like they're going to get Dylan Freeman there for a charge on Heald.
So yellow card for Freeman. Freeman will go to the box, having to hand off the keeper headband now to Stewart. Soldados now with 2 players in the box. Well, depending on if that shot was a good goal or not, because I believe if it was a good goal, then Avila would be released at this time, but I didn't hear a call on whether the shot was good or not.
Yeah, looked like the shot was a little bit off, but Quaffle is probably going to return up to Adam Heald. He's going to have pretty clean look, as there's a couple chasers back, but no bludgers.
Bludger coming in, but
and
Heald
Adam
able
Heald
to easily put that through the hoops.
Adam's a big guy, and going up and over is a go-to move of his.
I was going to say, probably the easiest in that kind of situation. So Avila is released from the box, but San Antonio still not at full strength, as Freeman remains in the box until the minute time is up or until Kansas City scores. And it looks like Soldados might go ahead and take their time with this next drive so that they can try to get Freeman back into play.
Yeah, series has been relatively clean to thus far. Haven't seen many players in the box, so having a couple players in the box, that is something that San Antonio has not had to navigate to this point.
No, not at all, but you have to wonder if, because it is a 1-in-1 series at this time now, if there's a little bit more desperation coming into it, and maybe people are going to make a couple more mistakes that might put them in the box.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, tensions are high. Everyone wants to win this series.
Absolutely. And that shot was missed by San Antonio, but the extra time did get Dylan Freeman back into the game. San Antonio now back at full strength. Billy Quadge coming up with the ball.
And Beaters trying to be really pesty there in the center there. Number 55, Gutierrez, not letting Himes have a moment alone to try to make a beat on Kansas City. Ruiz picks up the Quaffle on the far side, passes it to Grant behind hoops. Grant takes a shot, but Stewart able to make the save.
Yeah. And that sounds like it's getting a little bit heated over there.
That definitely sounds a little bit more heated.
Yeah.
Quaffle had been caught by a San Antonio player, and it looked like it got stripped, but might have been some excessive contact in the moment.
Yeah, it looks like he kind of went over the top of the chaser, and she was not particularly happy with it.
No. And, you know, like I said, that's always difficult. This is game 3. Again, a 1-1 series. This isn't a series sweep in either way at all. Yay, no sweep. But, yeah, tensions are high. Both teams putting their all on the pitch. Your referee, Jackson Johnson.
And it looks like there is going to be a card on the play.
Yep, yellow card to number 10, Kyle Hempkin, excuse me. So he will spend 1 minute in the box for Kansas City. Definitely the most cards we've seen of any of the games thus far today.
Yeah, I think things have certainly got an order as both teams are really going to be looking to secure the series win.
And it looks like San Antonio's number 12, Souza, will get checked out by the trainer. I think she had stayed down a little bit longer than they were anticipating after the hit, so better to get her checked out and be safe than not.
It looks like the athletic trainer, looks like she might just be subbing off, getting some air. Looks like she's good.
Never a bad thing to just go get checked out after a hit like that.
Absolutely.
And it looks like San Antonio also got a card on that play, and because Sousa is getting checked out by the trainer, the penalty will be served by another San Antonio chaser, number 20, Melkite. Sosa, sorry.
And it looks like that card may have been for the language after the play.
Yes, that would definitely do it. So just getting everything reset here. Jackson Johnson with the quaffle, handing it off.
It's going to be Kansas City with the quaffle.
Kate Ruiz with the quaffle just outside of San Antonio's hoops. Quach is beat and off broom, but Grant is at the center, ready for the pass. Hayworth playing high. Grant gets beat by Hayworth. Ruiz tries to pick up the quaffle, also gets beat. Quach has to turn over the ball to Stewart. Stewart charging, tries to go over.
Excellent
the top of Grant.
job. Excellent block there by Kansas City.
A great block by Ruiz.
But Dylan Freeman's
like a train. Once he gets the ball and he's running, it's very difficult to stop him.
Yeah. Dylan Freeman doing what Dylan Freeman is known to do.
Whistle on the play. Score right now is 40-30 San Antonio.
It looks like Jackson is stopping play, giving a warning to both benches. Both benches getting a little bit encroached on the pitch. It's an intense game. It's a big series.
Very excited.
Yeah. The score is I believe 40-30 in favor of San Antonio. Oh, the score is 50-30 in favor of San Antonio.
I was going to say, I thought that sounded incorrect. They just changed it. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Quach with the quaffle for Kansas City. Kansas City getting some new legs in at keeper in Morimoto. Quach passes other side to Morimoto, tries to take the shot. Great stop by Blackwood of San Antonio.
And then they have a no blood situation.
Yeah, Blackwood got beat, but then Stewart picks up the quaffle.
Yeah, Jay Stewart. Yeah, there's nothing you can do there.
No. Kansas City was playing chase at that point in time. Great goal by Stewart, makes our score 60-30. All right, play has been stopped for a defective broom. We are getting it switched out, and once we do, play will resume. We have two defective brooms. I think we have two defective brooms. One for each team.
Don't see that happen too often.
No, not at all. I think both of them might have just been missing caps, so nothing too extreme.
No.
But nobody wants an uncapped broom going into, well, any body part, really.
Yeah, those broom injuries are no fun.
No, not at all. Morimoto with quaffle. Bludger control in the hands of San Antonio momentarily, but a great catch by McClanahan might change
Billy
that.
Dish. Excellent ball movement by Kansas City.
Kansas City able to get the goal, and two bludgers are on the ground while there's a scrum for the third one. McClanahan coming, tries to get, and Kansas City might win this foot race for the Bludgers.
And it looks like they do.
Esparza.
They come away with Bludger control.
Stewart tries to make the quick dish too high over top of the hoop. Kite picks up the quaffle for San Antonio. Esparza charging in, goes around one hoop, and then scores through the mid-size hoop.
Yeah, too easy for Esparza there.
I was gonna say, you just gotta let him spin and move, and Esparza will get a goal.
Yep. Looks like DME is coming back into the game for Kansas City. They need a spark plug right now. The score is 70-40. They can't let this lead grow any bigger.
No, not at all. Once they get this game, started to look a lot more really like game one, where it was very close there at the start, and San Antonio is now starting to pull away. Quach with the quaffle behind hoops for Kansas City. Great stop by Esparza. Quaffle goes high and gets picked back up by San Antonio and put back in the hands of Esparza. Kansas City does have bludger control. We got number 33, Johnson.
You got Caitlin Johnson, and I believe that is
Dvorak.
Connor Dvorak.
Dvorak holding on to bludger control, and Mersick Ellis is back in keeping after switching out with Morimoto. Avila passing back and forth with Esparza at the top. Dvorak making a great beat. Send one of the San Antonio beaters back to hoops.
And it sounds like we are closing in on the 15-minute mark.
And Avila charging, takes the shot, goal through the center hoop. All right, we got a quick
and
stoppage.
It sounds like there may be some conversation about a San Antonio play continuing to play through beat and that potentially affecting play.
Yes, that does seem to be what the case is. The AR on the side was shouting for a beat, and couldn't see quite who they were calling out, but it seemed to have been ignored and or taken way too long to drop the ball in terms of the play. Kansas City taking the opportunity while play is stopped to converse with the players on the field and maybe try to change up their strategy, since what they're doing right now doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, it sounded like he was calling out number 2. That would be Maya Henbaugh for San Antonio.
And the referees are dispersing.
And it looks like they're going to be calling a blue card for continuing to play after beat. And I imagine that will take the score off the board, which will turn the score to 70-40.
Yep, and a blue card now in MLQ. For those of you that haven't witnessed one yet, only 30 seconds in the box now.
Just a welcome change.
It is a welcome change. Blue cards, they don't stack already, but usually not as egregious as a yellow card. So for them to be a full minute as well, kind of, wasn't quite making sense. So the 30 seconds is awesome, but same rules still apply too, that if Kansas City scores here, Henbaugh gets to rejoin her team. Mersick Ellis being led by Dvorak.
And who's that? Assistant captain for Kansas City.
And
then Mersick Ellis
with
great the shot. Great block
by Blackwood. Blackwood smacked that ball, and it goes rolling out. So I do believe it'll be Kansas City's inbound on the far
Kansas
side.
City's inbound, yes.
Blackwood was able to make the save at the hoops, but sent the ball flying out. Charging is Goulet. Goulet.
Yeah, Joe Goulet. That appeared to be contact around the neck.
Yes, I do believe that will be this next call. Goulet was almost able to get that shot off, but yes, there was definite contact to the neck. So I believe the quaffle is going back in the hands of Kansas City, and Blackwood will go into the box with a card.
Yeah, and he should be set up right next to the hoops. I can't imagine that this is going to be a situation where Kansas City does not come away with the goal.
Nope, Avila is there, and San Antonio has a beater far back behind the hoops, but there's really nothing you can do there. So goal for Kansas City brings our score to 70-50. San Antonio leads. San Antonio bringing back in Himes and Hayworth their prime beating duo this series. Esparza walking with the quaffle up pitch. And Dvorak has the lone bludger back on defense for Kansas City. Dvorak had stepped up to beat, and then we had a quick stoppage.
And it looks like there's going to be a card on Joe Goulet. Not a card, this is a blue card.
Blue card, so again, 30 seconds.
Yeah. Not really sure what occurred there.
Goulet seems to be being a good sport, though, and almost seemed to have laughed at himself a little bit, so it might have just been one of those little silly ticky-tacky things.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering now, based on where he was standing and where San Antonio has a player with a bludger, if he either made an illegal swat or had illegal interaction of some sort with a player that's not a quaffle player.
It looks like there's some discussion as to what was going on with number 17, Bradley Himes. Does it look like he was in the process of trying to make a catch as the whistle was being blown? It looks like he was able to stay on broom there.
Right. Blackwood back on the pitch. Passes back behind Hoops to Kite. Kite back up to Blackwood. Mercick Ellis almost picks that pass off. High pass made back behind Hoops to Avila. Avila not quite able to get fingertips on it. And Brandstetter gets to the quaffle first, but again, we have a stoppage.
Yeah, and that looks like it's going to be a yellow card on number 15, Max Wallerstedt, for an illegal slide.
So the quaffle will get put back in the hands of Avila. Kite is wide open behind the hoops, behind Kansas City's hoops for San Antonio.
Yeah, again, just like on the other side, I can't imagine San Antonio not coming away with something here.
You can't, but you never know what might happen.
Yeah, they've got a pair of chasers in the box. It looks like Kansas City has one bludger.
I was going to say San Antonio, Himes and Hayworth both have bludgers in between Kansas City's side, between the goal.
They don't have any bludgers, in fact. The third bludger is sitting on San Antonio's goal line. They're missing two chasers. You have to come away with the goal here.
All right, play is resuming. Avila only has Brandstetter. Brandstetter passes off to Esparza to Kite.
Yep.
Kite with the easy dunk.
Yeah, that's just a product of chasers outnumbering chasers.
Yeah, not much that you can do there. Mercick Ellis with the quaffle.
Yep.
Running up pitch. Goulet back in after that goal.
Yes. The score is now 80-50 in favor of Kansas City.
Thank you.
Or in favor of San Antonio, excuse me.
Yep, 80-50. San Antonio leads. Mercick Ellis trying to charge in. Avila and Esparza are both there to try to stop him. He gets past Avila, blocks a bludger, charges, takes the shot, but a great stop by Blackwood. Brandstetter able to pick up the quaffle after it gets blocked and put it through the hoop for Kansas City.
Yeah, Miguel Esparza, it looked like he was able to really stop there, but
Brandstetter was just in the right spot, right time.
Yeah, it's just a lucky right place, right time.
Score is 80-60. San Antonio leads.
Yeah, and there's going to be a timeout by San Antonio.
This is probably the closest the game has been since the very start. San Antonio, for the most part, has been keeping a 30-point lead, but now we're at 80-60. And San Antonio, I believe, is the one that called for the timeout just to try to regroup a little bit. And maybe both teams are concerned about, I mean, cards have been detrimental, I think, for both sides thus far in this Game 3.
I think whichever side is able to clean it up, avoid those penalties, because we've seen both teams have half their chaser lineup in the box. So if you can just avoid those penalties, I think that's going to put you at a serious advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you have two players in the box at the same time for your team, I mean, you are at a serious disadvantage. So it'll be interesting to see how both sides make adjustments and how they decide to really keep their heads in this game, because that could be what wins it for either side.
Yeah.
Players are returning to their brooms.
They're really interested to see the adjustments. Is this a time in which San Antonio is going to look to return to that two-female set that they've had a lot of success with? Kat Hayworth obviously being the anchor of that set.
Yeah, no, she has been stellar, really, regardless of who her beating partner is this entire game.
It does not appear that they're doing so. It looks like they're sticking with their lineup as is.
Yep, we got Carlisle, Esparza, Blackwood, and Kite in the Quaffle game for San Antonio. And Hayworth and Heim staying in that beater game. Bludgers being thrown. Kansas City maintaining control, though. Pass outside to Blackwood. Blackwood back across pitch to Carlisle.
Yep.
Carlisle being pressed high by Goulet. Esparza saves that from being their little reset.
That was a great play if Esparza was able to say that from being a reset, but
Absolutely.
it doesn't appear to matter as
No, and Blackwood's able
to drive that one home.
Yep. Score is 90-60. San Antonio leads.
Yep.
All right, Mercick Ellis walking up the pitch, sending Brandstetter back behind hoops. Healed on the pitch for Kansas City.
And this is pretty much the top chaser lineup that you're going to see from Kansas City with Adam Heald, Joe Goulet, DME, and Brandstetter.
Yep, and they're paired well with Vincent Reyes and Curry, who have also had a great deal of success in the beater game for Kansas City.
Yeah, Lauren Curry, she's looked really strong out there for Kansas City.
Healed, charging in, passes the ball outside to Mercick Ellis. Mercick Ellis taking it slow, back behind the hoops. Curry challenging Hayworth, Bludger. Trying not to give her the time of day to make a beat. Passes back up top to
Goulet, excuse me.
Passes back up top to Goulet. Just hits that top of that hoop. And a great alley-oop. Look at that. Mercick Ellis, a great pass just next to the high hoop. Goulet able to pick it up and dunk. Makes our score 90-70. San Antonio leads.
Yeah.
San Antonio getting some new people in at beater.
As they just call out, this will be the last possession, so we're just going to see if the set score is going to be 150 or 160.
Kansas City with Bludger control. We got DeWick and Curry in.
Yep.
Hinenbaugh, a great strip from Curry.
Yeah, and San Antonio able to secure control. I think that's all that Miguel was looking for. Just able to secure control. He sends his beating partner back. See if he's able to go out and secure a goal to go along with control.
Yep, Carlisle and Freeman moving the quaffle around. Getting closer in towards Kansas City hoops. Freeman able to get close enough to take a shot, but it's picked up by Heald.
Yep.
Kind of just a little bit of a flip shot. Easy for Heald to hold on to, and that will take us into our intermission. So much lower scoring game than we've seen here the rest of the day. Going into our intermission, score right now is 90-70. So set score is 150.
Yeah, and I think that's just a product of both teams coming out a little bit slow. I think we saw a really sluggish start, but once the game's gotten going, I don't think the scoring is slowed down any, and I expect that to continue into Snitch on pitch.
Yeah, I think with Snitch on pitch, we're definitely going to see a much faster paced game here. We've seen already in game 1 and game 2 that both teams, once the Snitch is on, tend to allocate their bludgers to the Seekers and Snitch play. So I think we might see a lot quicker quaffle play going back and forth. A lot of more just trying to drive and score, really. I mean, Kansas City kind of has to do that to get themselves back ahead. And, I mean, we'll see what happens in the Seeker game.
Yeah, Kansas City has got to step up and get a catch here. If Jay goes 3 for 3, then Kansas City, they're going to be facing a real uphill battle. Overcoming 50 points, not something I see too likely for Kansas City.
No, and we kind of saw that game 1 where as soon as San Antonio got that Snitch, it was, I mean, there really wasn't any coming back. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, second game, San Antonio got the catch to bring them back into it, but we will see what happens in game 3. Seeking for both teams, it looks like we have Stewart for San Antonio, and I believe that's Grant for Kansas City. Your Snitch again for game 3, Aaron Stout.
Yeah. Interesting to see Kansas City switch away from Joe Goulet. He had some really good looks at the Snitch in the first couple of games, and I think that he showed a lot of success. I wonder if they're planning on allocating him towards the quaffle game.
Yeah, I think that this is sort of the point in time where you do sort of have to pick and choose who's going to be best at what position. And we have at least seen Grant when he was in the Seeker game being pretty aggressive, and that might be what they need at this point in time to try to get the catch, since they haven't got one yet this series.
Yep. Kansas City does move a Creighton player over into the Quaffle game, but it is Senna. It is not Joe Goulet.
And Hinba with a great beat on Morimoto leaves the Quaffle just hanging out for Avila. Avila picks the Quaffle, charges and scores.
Yep.
So that was a goal for San Antonio.
Yeah, that would make the score 100-70. San Antonio.
Yep. Player for Kansas City stayed down after taking the hit on the goal, so they will be subbed out so that they can just get checked by the athletic trainer, our wonderful Kaylee Quattlebaum.
Yeah, Senna, just as quick as he comes on, looks like he's unfortunately going to have to sub back off.
Yeah, but Adam Heald in for Morimoto. Really doesn't dim down the chaser game for Kansas City at all. Heald charging in, passes the ball off. A little bit of collision back behind San Antonio hoops. Quaffle continues to be loose before Avila falls on top of it.
Yeah.
And bludgers are literally just flying everywhere pitch. Kind of just a lot of insanity going on at mid-pitch, as we expected with the Seeker and Snitch game.
Yeah.
Quaffle right now in the hands of San Antonio at their own hoops. I believe Blackwood has the Quaffle at his feet. Looks like there's going to be a sub for Hinba.
Yeah, it looks
of
like
San Antonio.
there may have just been a face beat there, which got her. And
those are stingers.
Yeah,
they really are.
They really are. I've experienced many of those at the hands of Justin DeWick. He has gotten armed.
Yes. I too have played against DeWick and then felt one of those face beats. So coming in for Hinba is Arujo, excuse me. DeWick with a bludger in hand. There's two bludgers on the ground, one in front of the San Antonio hoops, one behind San Antonio hoops. DeWick, the only armed beater near the Snitch game right now. And play is resuming. DeWick trying to help his partner keep a bludger.
Yep. Kansas City able to secure control out of that.
Grant doing a great job being aggressive and attacking the Snitch.
Yeah.
Blackwood charging Kansas City. Takes shot long over top.
Yep. And Joe Goulet does sub in back for Seeker for Kansas City.
Kansas City gets the Quaffle back behind their own hoops. Wild pass by San Antonio allows them to pick it up. Mercick Ellis charging. Someone throws a bludger, but it misses. Mercick Ellis takes the shot from behind the hoops, and the goal is good. Scores 100-80. San Antonio leads. Kansas City with bludger control near the Snitch, not even letting Stewart get a chance on the Snitch.
There's a good block there by Brandon Duncan.
Far side, we got Blackwood
and
with
a
Quaffle.
missed beat.
Blackwood taking time, passes back behind to Kite. Kite takes the shot.
And that shot is no good.
Hit the outside of the hoop. Didn't go through. Avila picks up the Quaffle, charges in, gets met by Mercick Ellis. Mercick Ellis wraps, passes the ball to Kite. Kite with another shot. Goal through the top hoop for Mel Kite.
That'll put it 110-80 in favor of San Antonio.
110-80. Snitch sort of getting a little bit of a breather here.
Yeah. Catch at this point will all but end it for San Antonio. They're 40 points away from the ceiling. They won't win off the
And
catch. But it looks like Joe Goulet brings Kansas City back into it.
That looked pretty good to me. So Goulet with the catch. Your score right now is 110-80. That would bring it up to 110-115, right?
It'd be 110-115.
Oh my
Kansas
goodness.
City
So Kansas City right back into this. Set score 150. Please excuse my slow math. It has been a long day.
Yeah, so we're, as far as we're concerned, we're all tied up.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's, I mean, started looking a little bit like game one, but now that we're got into the Snitch on pitch side, it's kind of looking more like game two. And we got we got number 2.
Darian Mercick.
Yeah, Mercick Ellis. Okay. Whew. Mercick Ellis with the quaffle in front of Stan. Passes off to Morimoto. Morimoto takes the shot. It is too low. Brandstetter is in a foot race with Avila and unable to come up with the quaffle. San Antonio with the quaffle back behind their hoops. And beaters are back into the quaffle game. Hayworth and Himes are on the pitch for San Antonio. Duncan and DeWitt.
Yeah. The scoreboard is currently showing 110-135. I think that is getting corrected to 110-115.
Yes, I know that my math was slow, but yes, I do believe that would be correct. It should have been 115.
Yeah. Yep. Kyle.
It should be 115.
115.
I promise. Because they were at 80.
Yes.
And then you get 35.
Yep.
Okay,
there
we got it fixed. We're all good.
No harm, no foul.
Everyone's happy here. MVP.
Yeah, it sounded like there's some calls from Kansas City for 125, San Antonio for 105. I think that's just one of those instances where you just short them a goal or give yourself an extra just so that you meet in the middle for the right score.
Yeah, I mean, both of them being on either side, but 115 is the correct score. All right. We got Quaffle over in the hands of Esparza. Walking up towards mid-pitch.
And this really has kind of played out as an inverse of game two, where San Antonio in this one built up a bit of a lead going into Snitch on pitch, and then Kansas City was the one who was able to catch, bring themselves back into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Miguel, unfortunately, not able to execute, but Clayton Carlisle comes up with the ball.
I was going to say, Carlisle passes to Kite in front of the hoops. Kite passes across to Esparza. Esparza. Ball out to Stewart.
Yeah.
Back up top to Esparza. Esparza charging, gets met by Mercick Ellis. Mercick Ellis able to keep Esparza on his toes, pushing him outside the keeper zone. Middle of pitch, we got a battle for a bludger. It doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. DeWitt comes out and helps his partner Duncan. Meanwhile, Esparza passes the ball to Kite back behind hoops.
Yeah. Risky play there from Justin DeWitt going out and helping in the beater game when the quaffling game. I thought that San Antonio was going to be able to stall out and get the possession there. But
yeah, that's one of those things where it's like sometimes you might just leave the play there until the quaffle gets back in the hands of your teammates.
Exactly.
There. But Goulet able to come up with the quaffle anyway and pass it off to Mercick Ellis so that they can start a drive on San Antonio.
Yeah, coming away with bludger and position of the quaffle is huge there.
Goulet gets... He must have blocked it with the quaffle. Oh, nope, he did get beat on that play. Quaffle in the hands of Carlisle. Gets past Esparza as Kansas City retreats to their own hoops.
Yep. Miguel appears to be wiping the ball down with the shirt, and perhaps a little bit of that humidity coming into play.
We have had a little bit of sprinkling rain here and there today as well, so the turf might be holding on to some of that moisture, and maybe the quaffle's a little bit more wet than we think. Esparza slowly walking up the pitch. Kansas City still holding on to bludger control. DeWitt making a great beat on number 42, Robles. Esparza passes across to Carlisle. DeWitt is extended. Quaffle gets in the hands of Stewart. And then gets pushed loose. Kansas City falling on top of the quaffle back behind their hoops.
And Kansas City able to come away. And since that catch, we've seen a couple of good defensive stops on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the defenses are what's winning it for both sides right now. Mercick Ellis running down the pitch, puts that quaffle through the hoops before San Antonio even knows what's coming.
Yeah.
Brings our score to 110-125, Kansas City.
I mean, I think that's just a case of your star player taking the ball into his hands, saying, hey, I'm going to lead us to the promised land.
Right, and just recognizing that opening is even there in the first place. Fresh legs coming in for San Antonio. We got Blackwood back in. Stewart on the far side.
Stewart out on that wing.
And then we got...
Yeah, so it looks like we are back into the double female set
Yep,
for San Antonio.
Hayworth and Hinba leading the way for their team. DeWick gets further extended. Stewart and Blackwood passes the quaffle back behind the hoops.
Yeah.
Still able to maintain possession of that quaffle.
Really good job maintaining possession, kind of resetting without your reset.
Right, and using the time that they had there, because both of them seem to be fairly close to the backside of that hoops. You know, there's the option there to take that shot, but I think both of them recognize that Kansas City is, I mean, standing really tight on the hoops. It wouldn't have been very, effective for them to do that. So take it back up top, rework it, which San Antonio is doing a great job of thus far. Oh no, missed pass goes rolling, not quite off pitch. And there's a whistle. Quaffle did roll off pitch before it was able to be stopped by San Antonio, so that'll be an inbound for Kansas City, just back behind their bench.
Yeah, and that is fortunate for San Antonio because their beater was a mile off pitch on the far side as Justin DeWick threw a missed beat over onto that far chaser.
Okay, warning to San Antonio, both players claimed immunity when trying to get a bludger. Just one of those little things that you might not notice, especially when you're that far separated from your beating partner. DeWick with a great swat. Mercick Ellis charging in, dodges one tackle, dodges another, passes the ball off to Morimoto. Morimoto scored the goal. Scores 110-135. Kansas City lead. Your set score is 150.
Yeah, another huge score for Kansas City.
Two more would do it for Kansas City. San Antonio with 4 more needed. Esparza to Avila. Avila back out to Stewart. Stewart up top to Esparza. Hayworth leading the way with her bludger. Esparza charging in. Passes back to Avila. San Antonio with just great movement up top. Hayworth able to get bludgers down. Esparza takes the shot and he gets it off.
Yep.
There was a bludger thrown at him, but it looked like it just missed. So that brings their score to 120-135. Kansas City leads.
Yep.
Pass outside.
Oh, and that's a huge hit over there by San Antonio. It looks like they're going to be able to make the stop behind their own hoops.
We got a scrum on the quaffle. But we got Hayworth coming in to clean it up, it looks like.
Yeah.
Players slowly trying to just unravel from the quaffle.
Yeah. Justin DeWick has been putting in a shift and a half out on field, but these Soldado chasers, have been keeping themselves in the game.
They absolutely have, and I mean, we've seen a lot of the same chasers over and over again, but they've been very effective at what they're doing, staying in this game when Kansas City was able to get that catch to bring them back. So score 135-120. Again, your set score 150. We're just pausing for a bit of an injury that might have occurred during that little bit of a scrum. Not sure if it's an injury or more of a cramp.
Yeah.
Now that we're here in this third game and really getting towards the end of it.
Yeah. Dehydration maybe taking the athletic trainer's out on the field. It looks like he's Winston getting up, but it looks like he's getting up all right.
Yep, our player is up.
He is being assisted off the field by his teammates, and he's
being carried off the field by teammates, but
that's David Avila for San Antonio.
And it'll be interesting to see how San Antonio fills that void. Avila's been on the field for, I mean, at least 70-80%, I feel like, of the games that they've played and been, key for them both on defense and offense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if with that injury they're going to switch to a traditional male and female beater set as opposed to running this double female set with 4 male chasers.
Absolutely, and it looks like we've got Freeman coming in to fill the void where Avila was. Quaffle is in the hands of Esparza, just behind the San Antonio hoops. Kansas City with bludger control. San Antonio with their lone bludger in the hands of Hayworth.
Looks like Lauren Curry subbing on for Kansas City.
Yep, DeWick and Curry now in for the beating game for Kansas City.
I think that they've largely looked like Kansas City's best beating duo to this point.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. Kansas City Quaffle players playing tight to the hoops. Sparza charging in. A quick little stop of play real quick so that a bludger could get back to where it needed to be, given the situation.
It looked like he was beat, dropped his bludger, and then it kicked it back to hoops. Whether or not that was intentional, I'm not here to speculate on.
No, absolutely not. The right call was made, I think, in the end of that.
Absolutely.
Freeman passing back behind hoops. Freeman passed the ball back up top to Carlisle.
And that looks like it's going to be a turnover.
Turnover to Kansas City for an inbound.
Yep.
Inbound will be taken by Mercick Ellis.
Yeah. San Antonio just sitting back with control.
Yep, Hayworth and Hinba did a great job getting control back.
Yeah. With Kansas City 2 goals away from the set score, they're going to really make sure that they're setting back. They're not going to give away any easy fast break goals.
Kansas City.
And that's something we've seen across the board. Is a great catch by DeWick.
Great pass to Goulet. A bounce pass made across to Morimoto. Morimoto in a foot race with Carlisle. Morimoto wins the foot race, dodges a bludger, sends the ball back into Mercick Ellis. Mercick Ellis dodges, sends the ball across the back. Morimoto struggling to keep a hand on it, and it will be rolling around, almost picked up by Blackwood, and then finally picked up by Stewart at the San Antonio hoops. San Antonio keeps bludger control in the hands of Hayworth and Hinba. DeWick still in beating for Kansas City. DeWick with Curry. Curry being aggressive, trying to keep San Antonio beater Hinba busy and push her out of the play. Blackwood with Quaffle. Just outside. Blackwood charging. Passes off to Stewart just outside the hoops. Stewart back up top to Esparza. Great tackle made by Curry. Esparza passes back outside to Stewart. Kansas City playing way too tight on the hoops for San Antonio to just charge. Stewart tries anyway, tries to take the shots at the top. No good, but Dylan Freeman picks up that Quaffle and puts it through the hoop.
Yep. They're doing a really good job there of maintaining control. They were being fairly passive with their bludgers, but they definitely wanted to make sure they were keeping control. Great job executing and getting the score.
Just great patience by San Antonio all around, really.
Absolutely.
Score is 130-135. So, again, at this point, basically a tie game, and our set score is 150. So both teams 2 goals to win it.
Yeah. We got Adam Heald coming on for Kansas City.
Heald, Mercick Ellis, Goulet, and
that's Sydney Bozier.
Sydney Bozier. San Antonio keeping bludgers tight. DeWick goes in, beats Hinba, unable to get the bludger in the hands of his partner, though. Curry really trying to keep San Antonio beaters busy while Kansas City tries to make an opening to score. Mercick Ellis takes the jump.
Absolutely.
I can't even see how fast his feet move, and then he's just there and takes the shot.
Yeah. Really huge goal there, putting them 1 goal away from the set score.
Yep, 145-130. Again, set score 150. If you thought the second game was close, you weren't ready for the third game.
Yeah, that's just another case of your playmakers going out and making plays in the biggest instances. Again, score is 145 Kansas City, 130 San Antonio. As a great strip there by Joe Goulet.
Goulet gets the Quaffle from Blackwood. Then Kansas City gets it in the hands of Mercick Ellis.
Yep.
Mercick Ellis passes to Heald. Stewart really just pressuring as high as he possibly can, because this goal would end it and give Kansas City the win.
Kansas City with control. And
Goulet
Joe Goulet going for the shot to end it right now, and unfortunately was not able to put it through.
Yeah, shot a little bit errant, maybe a little bit rushed there. So the Quaffle goes back in the hands of San Antonio. Blackwood subbing out, bringing Freeman back into the game. We got Carlisle, Esparza, Freeman, and Stewart in for San Antonio. And things are very quiet as the world seems to just wait.
Yeah. 130, 145. Again, Kansas City in the lead.
Great beat by Hinba on Heald.
A goal by San Antonio here would put us to a next goal win situation.
Aren't those just the most exciting? Esparza with Quaffle. Bludgers are on the ground. Esparza charges, dodges one bludger. Gets great pick set by Carlisle, but not quite the opening that Esparza needs to go score.
Yeah. Miguel being very methodical and also making sure that he's not putting the ball through the hoop in a situation where his beaters are not prepared.
Right. And Duncan and Reyes doing a great job just tapping out the Quaffle players for San Antonio, making it difficult for them to try to get this goal, as Stewart and Freeman just had to both go tag up before coming back into play. Stewart with the Quaffle takes the long shot, goes to Carlisle. Carlisle grabs the pass. Stop on the play. And it looks like Jackson Johnson will be discussing with referee Matt Melton in regards to what happened on that situation. Yep. The catch of the Quaffle was definitely good. It was hard to tell what happened next. Speculation on some players suggesting that may have been off broom on the catch.
Yeah.
I think the other ones might be looking for back contact.
Yeah, I think that there's the argument here is to whether or not he hit him when he was potentially in the process of catching it, or if he was off broom and he was moving him out of the way.
Yeah, we will leave the call to the referees though, because that is what they are here to do. Players are returning to their areas, and Jackson Johnson is going towards the
He's going for the pocket
of the foul to discuss what happened. Quaffle picked up and turned over to Stewart at the top of the keeper zone. So I think there was off broom called on Carlisle, as well as maybe a Quaffle turnover back to Stewart. Stewart charging in, gets pushed back outside.
Yep, and good defense there by Kansas City.
Yeah, Mercick Ellis doing a great job of just being aggressive and, pushing up on the Quaffle players of San Antonio, trying not to let them get anywhere near shooting range. Great beat by Hinba, opens up a lane for Esparza. Esparza takes the shot.
Oh, and Miguel putting it through, but beat before is the call.
So Quaffle will go back in the hands of Kansas City. Mercick Ellis score 145-130. Kansas City scores here. They will win and get their first series sweep against San Antonio, as well as having had their first win in Game 2.
Yeah, and a series win against San Antonio would be absolutely huge in Kansas City. It would really put them in the driver's seat for that second place in the South Division.
Which is really exciting because, again, this is Kansas City's first series of the season. They do have a Super Series coming up next, I believe, where they would play against Austin and New Orleans. And then San Antonio, this is their third series. They got swept by Austin, but did manage a sweep over New Orleans. So this could, make really 2, 3, and 4 in the South anybody's game. Mercick Ellis passes to Goulet. Goulet across to Heald. Heald wraps up, tries to get the pass off.
Nice stop.
Gets blocked by Freeman. Freeman passes to Esparza. Nobody
back to Kansas City. And
Goulet tries to make the wrap from behind. Esparza charging, takes out the hoop, passes to Blackwood. Blackwood takes the shot, and a great block by Heald.
Block.
And there's going to be a stoppage. But wow, lots of fast, exciting play there.
Yep. And it looks like there's going to be a call on Kansas City for contact from behind. Miguel is going to have the ball right next to the Kansas City hoops.
Looks like we might be getting that next goal win scenario.
It looks like we might. There's a beater right there, but I imagine he's going to put that through before he's beat.
Yeah, Vincent Reyes there with the bludger in hand, but it's going to be up to the refs to tell what happens first, really. Because, I mean, at this point, Miguel can just extend his arm and already have his hand through the hoop.
Yeah,
really.
I think it's just going to be a little flick of the wrist. I don't think that there's a
Nothing
situation where
fancy.
he's going to get beaten before. It'd be a very impressive play from Vincent Reyes if he's able to pull that one off.
But while players are trying to figure out what's happening next, it looks like there's some discussion towards the top of the keeper zone with some of the San Antonio players that are still here about maybe strategy for this potential and very likely next goal win scenario. Referees are moving to the side and discussing further, which is why play hasn't restarted as of just yet. So if you are just joining us, because I have realized that our viewership has definitely gone up. Game 1, San Antonio won 185 to 110. Game 2, Kansas City came back with a win, 190 to 175. And this Game 3 is 145-130 with our set score 150. So anything can happen at this point. And goal for Esparza, so we are definitely in next goal win scenario.
Yep.
Quaffle in the hands of Kansas City's Mercick Ellis.
Yep.
San Antonio looking to make the biggest defensive stop they have all series, and Kansas City looking to just get this quaffle through the hoop by whatever means necessary.
Yeah. Set score is 150. This is a next goal win situation.
Bludgers are exchanged. Both beaters are out. Hinbaugh's the only one armed with the bludger. Hayworth gets back into it, and Duncan picks it up too. A great Mercick Ellis blocks the bludger, passes the ball across to Goulet, and then we get a stoppage.
And it looks like Darian did step off the pitch there. It is going to be a turnover. That is a huge stop for San Antonio.
That is
And
major.
They're going to be back with bludger control.
San Antonio with bludger control and quaffle in the hands of Esparza over San Antonio bench. Kansas City with one bludger back in the hands of McClanahan.
And you hear Miguel calling out, sell out, sell out.
Great
They are going
catch
for
by
the win
McClanahan.
right here.
Esparza takes the long pass back behind hoops. Stewart charging, moving around outside the hoops. Kansas City doing a great job of just pressing. Quaffle back in the hands of Esparza.
Yeah. And Kansas City is able to come up with control through that exchange.
So bludgers are in the hands of McClanahan, and I believe Duncan is on the pitch. Hinbaugh with the bludger for San Antonio.
Brian McClanahan with another huge catch.
Esparza and Stewart passing the quaffle back and forth up top, waiting for their moment. Goulet being aggressive, trying to keep Esparza outside of the keeper zone. Esparza pass off to Stewart. Stewart flubs the pass.
And there's no bludger. There's one bludger back. Excuse me.
One bludger back in the hands of Hinbaugh, but she tries to use it on McClanahan.
Darian,
Bludgers are down for San Antonio. Mercick Ellis charging, takes the shot.
Puts it through. They are calling it good.
And that would be a goal.
It appears that goal is good. That would make it a 2-1
waiting
series win for
1
Kansas City.
second to
There's
hear
some
for
discussion.
sure. There is some discussion on whether that goal is good, but this would put the win in Kansas City's hands and give them the series win as well, the first time that they would have ever taken down San Antonio in series history, and they do it.
That goal is good. That is a 2-1 series for Kansas City with our final score, 155-140.
All right. Christina Packard.
I've been John Qualabong.
And thank you guys for joining us for these exciting games tonight. Congratulations to Kansas City with the 2-1 series win over San Antonio.
Have a good
All right,
night.
have a good night, guys.